Welcome back, Snappers. Well, the NFL may be the biggest league in the world, but American football in Britain is built by people who give up their evenings, weekends, and countless hours for the love of the game.
And a few people who had a bigger impact on British American football than today's guest. He's helped build one of Europe's most successful football organisations, developed countless players, been a driving force behind the growth of the sport in the UK.
And if London Warriors are that dynasty of British American football, then today's guest has been one of the architects helping build it.
We're delighted to welcome London Warriors offensive coach and one of the most respected figures in the UK game, Keohane. Welcome to Mind the Snap.
Ladies and gentlemen, standing 6 feet from the trenches, the man who's built offensive lines, led a nation, and now joins the London Warriors. Please welcome Keohane. He learned the game where the big boys fight, helmet on underneath the Friday light. Lived in the trenches, paid every due. Now he's building champions in red, white, and blue. He knows the pressure. He knows the pain. Every yard earned in the pouring rain. From pulling guards to the final whistle. Now he's roaring plays with a coach's pencil. He's been there, done that. Wore the jersey on his back. Hey, Kevin Keohane, leading from the front again. Oh, hey, Kevin Keohane, leading from the front again. Oh, building warriors, making champions. Wind starts up in the trenches. Oh, raise the flags, stand up tall. British football, give it all. From Team GB to Warrior Nation. Kevin Keohane.
So, Kevin, welcome to Mind the Snap. We're going to start by your journey. So we just want to understand how you first got involved into American football and what was the scene like when you first started out?
Okay, so I first got involved in, when I involved in American football, became a fan, was around 1991 when the London Monarchs first set up in London as part of the World League. And I had an uncle that took me and my cousin to all of the home games, watched them win the World Bowl. Then we were like hooked. And then we started to watch the American Bowls they used to have at Wembley, which was like a pre-season game and everything like that. And that's how I kind of got hooked into the sport. Then I was following it, watching, like when I say watching it online, watching it on Channel 4, reading First Down magazine, that kind of stuff. And then I had a friend who played youth football in West London for Ealing Eagles. And then when I got to like 18, 19, I finished playing soccer and I was kind of a big lad. And he went to me when we had a few beers one night, do you fancy giving it a try? And I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try. And for about 6 weeks, I just got my ass kicked and I was just thumped left, right and centre all over the field. But I went, do you know what? I actually quite like this. So I then started my playing career with London Blitz and I played there for 3 or 4 years. Started to get onto the radar for the Great Britain Lions and also like the NFL Europe National Player Pathway Program. And then in 2003, I moved over to the PA Knights, played for a number of years for them, won a national championship with them in 2004. I kept playing for Great Britain during that time. And then around 2012, when the Knights went through like a reorganisation structure, I joined the London Warriors and then I played the remainder of my Warriors career from 2012 to 2017 for Tony, alongside with my offensive coordinator Jerome as our QB, and wide receiver coach Mark McGowan was a wide receiver there, and basically to where we are now. So in that time I won 4 national championships with the Warriors in my years there. Had a really good experience, and then I retired in 2017. Took a few years off from the sport because after nearly 20 years of playing, I was a little bit burnt out. But then I came back to coaching at the Great Britain, at the time the Great Britain under-17s team, where my first head coach Damon Kirby basically said, look, we've got this opportunity, come and coach the kids. And then from there I was coaching the under-17s. I then moved to the Great Britain men's national team, coaching their O-line as well. And then after couple of years of doing that, all of a sudden the opportunity came to apply to be GB Lions head coach. Applied for it, got the job. I'm now running my first cycle with the guys and getting ourselves ready for games for the performance team versus Norway and Finland. And then earlier on this year, I had a phone call from Marvin Allen that said, Kev, we're starting a pro franchise in London. We need an O-line coach. Do you want the job? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So here we are.
Love that.
Nice. So did you ever imagine that the UK football scene would be like it is today, like when you started?
I mean, when I started, it was like you say, we had NFL Europe, we had like the all that sort of stuff going along and everything like that. I think where we are now is very different. I think having a pro franchise like the Warriors is a great opportunity for kids to be able to play a really good level of football that gives guys something to aspire to, because NFL Europe was great, but they used to only carry 2 or 3 national players, so non-Americans on their rosters, and that's hard to break into that. That's probably 15 guys maximum that are getting a spot, and that's across all of Europe. Whereas an opportunity like the Warriors gives all these homegrown guys who are good enough the opportunity to be playing some really significantly high level football all through the summer and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a good situation. I think over my years in the sport, it's gone up and down depending on level of competition, how everything's gone. But I think definitely now that the level is starting to increase, and I think eyes are starting to shine on it, and people are starting to really buy back into the sport and really want to push the sport forward.
What's the biggest change you reckon you've seen in the UK over the years?
There's been lots of changes. I think the growth of Bucks has been the one biggest change, I think, from what I've really seen through it there. Like the BAFA domestic football is kind of the same as it has been since I've been playing like summer ball, but the growth of Bucks football has really, really helped. So once it got adopted as a Bucks sport, obviously there's so many more teams. It's giving kids so much more access to the sport, and then having something like NFL Academy coming in as well, and SGS Pride and all that sort of stuff, giving kids opportunities to play football, 11-a-side football at decent levels, and then give them opportunities to go over to the States as well. That's what's huge, is actually opening that pathway to help those athletes get over to the States to either do a senior year at high school to then put themselves in front of potential college coaches, or even just straight into colleges and Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, and all that sort of stuff. I think it's really good. I think the pathways for younger players now is significantly better than it was when I first started playing.
Yes. What are your proudest moments from your playing and coaching careers?
There's a few. My first national championship with the Knights was really quite special because we beat the O's, who had been a dominant force for 10 or so years and stuff like that, particularly as the year before we'd lost. So getting that in 2004 was incredible. Then the next one, well, when I say the next one, before that was probably my first GB cap as well over in Finland. That was a really proud moment for me to, 20 years old, pull on that GB Lions jersey and get a few. What was really nice, I got a few mop-up reps at the end of the game, so I did get to get on the field because I wasn't a bona fide starter, but just to wear that uniform and represent my country was pretty huge. And then the first national championship with the Warriors, that was with an exceptional group of athletes, and a lot of those players had come through the Warriors youth network to then form the senior team, to then go and win a national championship from all the way from Division 2, Division 1 up to Premiership to do that, and then build like a decade of dominance that they've had off of the back of that was really good. And then so I've had a lot, like you say, a lot of playing moments. Then getting inducted into the BAFA Hall of Fame was quite special as well, because that's something that, like you say, it's recognition from not only your peers but the whole sport as a whole. And considering the sport's been played in the UK for 40 plus years, and there's been a lot of players, to be deemed worthy of being in the Hall of Fame for British American football is quite special. And then in terms of coaching career, first game as GB under-17s competitive against Austria. Didn't win the game, but the fact that we played the game, the guys competed, was fantastic. Then the next year after that, the under-17s first win against Norway, that was an incredible weekend as a whole. That was just something that was really, really special, and something that I'll cherish forever, because those kids in that game just went out and absolutely dominated from start to finish. It was an incredible thing to watch. And then getting wins with Great Britain as Great Britain as an O-line coach. Like, one of my favourite moments was against Denmark. where Joe Hamilton caught a pass on the 6-yard line, and then he's held up by 2 defenders. 1 O-lineman runs in, 2 more O-linemen run in, 3 more, 4 more O-line, like all the O-line run in, then all of one wide receivers and running backs going in, and we push that guy over the corner, over the pylon to get a touchdown. Like, one of the most incredible feats of not even just football, just effort, sheer will. Like, these guys just were like, we're going to get in. And that completely turned the tide of that game. Like, that moment, I think, broke Denmark's spirits a little bit of going, if we can't even keep them out from 6 yards out and they're just going to roll us over, like, what will you do for the rest of the game? So,
You're saying that, I can picture in my head of everyone doing it. Like,
yeah, exactly. Everyone just running, boom, 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 and then like, even our QB comes running in, Sam Bloomfield comes running in to try and push it in, and we've got wide receivers from the far side of the field coming in. Yeah, it was incredible. And then more recently, like, Warriors' first win against Firenze was really, really special. But I think one thing that really galvanised our team was getting that win against Alpine in Alpine. That 2-minute drill to go down, score, get the extra point, and then for the defense to then step up and ice the game with a huge sack when they've got no timeouts left. Just watching the clock roll down was really, really special.
That's mega.
Yeah,
it's good.
And then there's the many more proud moments to come as well.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, like this, the story's not done, and I'm hoping to add to that memory list and all those things to talk about. Like you say, we've got at Warriors, we've got 4 games to go, and we're pushing for a playoff spot, and I firmly believe we can get a playoff spot. And then I've got my first 2 games as Great Britain head coach versus Norway and Finland, and I'm hoping to come away with 2 wins there as well. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting 2026. Let's just put it that way. Film uploaded on time in practice, and then we're actually starting to break down what we run in practice, like what are our successful plays, what are our least successful plays, so we can start to identify what plays are effective and which aren't, but then also looking at them in terms of personnel as well, because one play might be awful with a certain group of people in, but then we run it with a different group of people and it's fantastic. So we're working on all those sorts of facets. So it's literally everything that you could think of to do with football, making sure it happens. It's not just, everyone just thinks I walk around keeping the time on the field and blowing my whistle on a camp day, but it's making sure that we get everything prepped and ready so the players actually have a really good experience on the field at practice and everything seems smooth and seamless for them. So like, for example, it's the duck on water thing, isn't it? Like that. What everyone sees is just the team gliding along the water, but underneath I'm churning my legs and basically leading and trusting my guys to deliver on what they do. Like, I don't get into the minutiae of how my DB coaches teach this or teach that one, because I don't have knowledge, but that's why I've got the staff that I've got, because they're subject matter experts, right? And that's what you do. You bring in subject matter experts and say, right, I need the DBs to be the best they can be, or I need the running backs to be the best they can be. And that's what I've got with my staff. I'm really lucky with the staff that I've got that are able to do that. And then part of me is just driving this forward, making sure we're staying on track, ready to play against Norway and Finland in October with the best available players, put in the best possible situation to go and get that win. Nothing's guaranteed, but like you say, if we do all of the right things, it's process over outcome. Like if we follow the correct process and do the right things, then the results should take care of themselves.
I love that. That's a good segue then. So how do the players earn a place onto the GB programme?
So we have our open tryouts are usually at the beginning of the cycle. So it was in January this year. We usually run it in December, but it was a little bit later this year because of the hiring process for the head coaches and the restructure of the national programme, where we removed the under-19s team and we've now got the Great Britain development team, which is like a circa under 24s team that is going to be playing in IFAF competitions to give guys that we think are up and coming players the opportunity to get live game reps against other IFAF nations. So they're playing Georgia and they're playing Spain this year. So they will have genuinely competitive games against those teams, and then working very closely with them. And then, sorry, go back to what was the question again?
How do players earn a place into the program?
So we have the open tryout process that we have on there, and then we evaluate those guys that come to the tryouts, and then we invite them along to be part of the cycle. Some people submit film because they can't. If we have tryouts on one weekend, we can't always do that. But we much rather see people live and in flesh, because when people send us highlight reels, it's great. Yeah, you send us all your great plays. I also want to see how do you respond when you when you mess up? How do you respond when you're going up against a really good athlete who's really pushing you to your limit? Do you rise to the occasion, or do you sink and crumble and stuff like that? And the tryout sessions is not necessarily going like, can you play the scheme correctly? It's a bit of a stress test. How do you deal with the pressure? How do you deal with being put under stress in this environment to perform and stuff like that? And that's how players get involved. And then after that, we make our selections, we bring in the guys into the squad, and then we run at the moment currently monthly camps. The guys come along, install our playbooks, install our schemes, and basically start to build a little bit of a team cohesion and everything like that. And then at the end of August, we've got one more camp in August. We will then be making our selections for guys that are going to be in the Great Britain Performance Squad, which will be playing Norway and Finland. And then we'll be then picking, or the development team will be picking their squad from the remaining players who are eligible to be part of the development squad based on their ages.
Yeah. Nice, yeah. So what the biggest challenges that you're currently facing with for Team GB?
The current challenges we have, if we want to have the best players involved, a lot of our best players are now playing abroad professionally. They're playing professionally in the UK. So having the availability of them to come to camps all the time is tough. Okay, like the Warriors guys, they've played 8 games in 10 weeks. Okay, and we had a camp this weekend, and it was a bye week. So we treat the professional players all the same. As long as they're engaged online and doing the classes and the installs and everything like that, they don't have to be at camps during their professional seasons, because obviously they're under contracts with their teams. And it's pretty tough to expect guys who are based in Munich or Prague or Paris or whatever to fly over and practice, because everyone pays to be part of GB. They pay to practice, they pay for the games and stuff like that, because unfortunately we don't have funding that allows it to be cost zero or cost neutral for players. So like you say, we have those guys that we're doing in there. So that's probably the struggle, is having the best players available all the time. But at the same time, that situation then allows the younger developing guys who are based in the UK, who are not abroad playing professionally, they get to spend time with our coaches. They get to be coached up by some of the best coaches in the UK to become better players and push them and push themselves to where they need to be to start competing for a performance team roster spot.
And what do you see that separates that good player from an international level player?
So the difference, I think, is you've got to have a level of athleticism. Like if you're going to trip over your own feet, it's probably not going to be the sport for you. But a lot of the time, it's actually just work ethic. Work ethic in terms of learning football, learning what you've got to do. Yeah, not even just going, I play X receiver, so I'm only going to learn the X receiver routes. Okay, you're going to learn the whole concept, because guess what? If one of our guys goes down and you're our second string wide receiver and we need someone to play Z, guess what? You're going to have to step up and play Z. So there's that work ethic of learning everything that we need to do, that you want to be doing. And it's a case of looking after your body, making sure you're in the best possible shape you can be to play. I don't believe you can play international level sports without having to do extra training away from club practices or GB practices. You need to be in the gym, you need to be lifting, you need to be running, and you also need to be recovering, right? Okay, you need to be recovering, you need to be doing all those things to allow your body to be the best condition it can be. So when you step on the field, we're not worried about you. Like you say, you can go out there and you can perform to your maximum potential.
Love it.
I reckon there'll be a need to be adaptable as well, isn't there?
And like you say, that goes to the understanding what we're trying to do as well, and things like that, right? Like I've played on GB teams where we picked up some injuries on the O-line, and we had one linebacker go, right, stick me in at guard. Like we put him in at guard, center and tackle either side of him, basically going, block that guy, and he did it. Okay, that's the part of the being adaptable, because we can only dress 45 guys on game day. So that means sometimes we're running with only 7 O-line. And if a couple of guys get banged up and then a third guy gets banged up, then you're in a bit of a hole. But it's about being adaptable. It's about being a team player. And it's about doing what is necessary for you for the benefit of the team. It's not about your ego and what you want to do and stuff like that. It's about doing what is needed to help the team win.
Love that.
Yeah.
Ambition-wise for the GB team, what's the ambitions over the next few years?
Well, the ambition is to keep growing of where we are. We want to be, again, competing for the Group A European Championships. As well, we want to be developing a good pathway of younger internationals who are going to come up and step up and start growing the performance team. So we're actually going to become like a real force to be reckoned with in Europe. Like we want to compete with, like you say, the likes of Austria, We're going to be playing Finland, who are currently ranked number 2, Italy and stuff like that. But we want to be those guys that eventually other teams go, oh man, we got to play Great Britain. That's going to be a tough game, right? That's what I want. I want guys to go, man, this is going to be tough. Like, we're going to have to work our arse off if we want to get a win against these guys. And sometimes that's just mindset. Like, we just want to have a mindset of no quit, maximum effort all the time. Like, just run until your wheels fall off, and then we'll put somebody else in who will do just as good of a job. So give us everything, and then we'll keep going and we'll move in the right direction.
Yeah, just say Finland being a big powerhouse in the international, especially in Europe, because Europe and we've got a lot of history there.
Yes.
Said, but you'll be facing that kind of wounded animal, won't you? Because they've lost the last 2 championships to love, to zero.
Yes.
So they're built for revenge, won't they, this year?
Of course they will. Yeah, they're going to come out and try and prove a point against us, but at the same time, we're going to try and prove a point against them. Okay, right? Like, we beat Denmark. We narrowly lost to Sweden. We've got the next 2 Scandi nations in Norway and Finland, and it would be nice for us to get 3 wins out of those 4 Scandi nations, and it would be great. I'm sure the Finnish will probably tell me they're not Scandinavian, they're Finnish. That's fine. That's okay. That part of the world, there's 4 strong nations that we're going to be facing, and it's not Finland are the top dog that we're going to be facing them, but we're not taking Norway lightly either. We know they've got a good established league, having seen them firsthand at the under-17s level, where we got a good win against them, but they had some good quality, solid football players, and I'm sure that's going to have gone all the way through to their senior program. We've got 2 tough games ahead of us, but there's nothing I don't believe we can't win.
I suppose there's some benefits now, seeing some of these players in the flesh across Europe, with the Warriors being part of the professional game now. I think it's, you can watch as many tapes as you want, but until you can hear the crunches with your own ears and smell the sweat, it's
like tape can be deceptive sometimes. It can terrify you, and then you go to the field and you go, oh, okay, what were we worried about? But on the other hand, it can lull you into a false sense of security as well, right? So we have to be very realistic, and like you say, getting to see some of these athletes up close and in person and stuff like that is always good, and particularly seeing the GB athletes who are playing pro and seeing how they're developing and how they're getting on, that's giving me more cause for excitement, because we've got some exciting guys on our roster who are making some big plays out there in Europe at the moment, and we want those guys to come back in ready to go and do that again at the international stage for their country.
Nice. And what position group are you most excited for? I know you've been an O-line coach now for the Warriors, and
yes,
that's where you played, but which of the position groups really excites you from this group?
For me, at GB, the running back group, I mean, obviously the running backs and the O-line go together. I think we've got some of the best O-line and some of the best running backs that we can have out there as well. But I'm also super excited for our linebacker group. Right, I like our linebackers. We've got some good athletes on there. But if I'm honest, every positional group on that GB roster has playmakers, has athletes who can make some legitimate plays, and people need to be very much aware of that, because, like you say, if you want to take away our run game, we're going to pass the ball on you, okay? Our defense is drilled to stop the run, because then we get to rush the passer, okay? So like you say, there's so much that we can go after out there, but I mean, I'm just blessed that I've got some really incredible athletes who want to be part of GB and want to represent their country and go out there and get that win for us.
Love it.
And do you find it hard a lot sometimes in the camps to not take your head coach hat off and put in your O-line coach hat? Just like,
I mean, yeah, I walk around and I sometimes stop at the O-line, and if I see somebody who might be not using the best technique, I will coach them up and stuff like that. But to be fair, I trust all the guys that I've got in as positional coaches. Like, they're all subject matter experts, and they're all guys that I trust will get everybody on the same page when we step on those fields in October, ready to go and kick some ass. Quite frankly, that's where we are. That's why they're part of the team. We don't carry any passengers. Everybody here is adding value in one way or another. That's all I can expect of it. And like you say, being a head coach is nice. It's stressful at times, but it's nice to be able to walk around and see stuff, rather than where I used to be in the little O-line corner, working away with the big boys off the field because we get in the way of everybody else. But you know what I mean? And seeing what we're doing, and I've actually come to appreciate more the coaches that are on the GB staff than I perhaps previously did, because I can get to see them work, and I get to see them interacting with their guys. I get to see them imparting the knowledge on the players, and I get to see players improving, not only from camp to camp, but from a morning practice session to an afternoon practice session. So that's what's really good to see. Awesome.
Well, Kevin, we're going to now go into this segment, a bit that I am excited about, the London Warriors. So, first question we've got for you, what attracted you to the Warriors project?
Well, firstly, I played for the Warriors from 2012 to 2017, so 6 seasons. And I've known Marvin, Tony, Jerome, and a lot of the other coaches for 25 years. So I first met Marvin and Tony via the NFL Europe National Player Pathway Program, because Marvin was a player, Tony was heading it up, finding the athletes and stuff like that. So, and obviously they're both legends in British American football, folklore, and the game just in general. And and we've always spoken and stuff like that about things that are going on and if opportunities come along, etc., and all that sort of stuff. So when I saw the announcement of the team and Marvin being announced as GM, I just messaged him, said congratulations, like good to see it finally happening, and then he just replied, we'll speak soon. I was like, cool. So when the dust settled on that initial announcement and he was able to start moving and mobilizing his coaching staff, he said, look, we want to bring you in for O-line coach. Is that something that you can make work? And I was like, well, I live in Leeds, but I can potentially base myself just outside of London and make everything work. And then just ask some questions. Where are you going to be based? What's the schedule, etc., etc. And yeah, we got to an agreement where we went, yeah, I can make that work. And yeah, it's been a fantastic 3 months. Yeah, May, June, July, 3 months. It's gone fast and slow at the same time. Like, I can't believe, like, we're only at July, like end of July, but at the same time, it's been an insane 3 months to get to where we are right now. So yeah, it's good. So yeah, that's where it came about. And yeah, to work with those guys is a real privilege, because the people that are all involved in a team know football. That's what it's all about. It's making sure we've got football guys doing football things, making football decisions, and putting a good product out on the field, which I think we are doing right now. I think we're doing okay.
Yeah, I love it. Now, with the Warriors being part of the AFL, what excites you most about that?
I think it's playing that top level European football. Like, I was lucky enough to play as a player, to play in some European like cup competitions and stuff like that. But to have this level of competition week in, week out for the British homegrown players that we've got on the squad is only going to make them better football players. Like, he's not one of my guys, but Jezreel Agu, who plays defensive end for us, like, he's been a good football player. Like, he's a good, solid football player. But in these last 3 months, he's become an exceptional football player. Like, I know he's going to hate me saying that, because that's going to put a lot of pressure on him. But he has stepped up and leveled up, and he's like the outlier, as in he's gone probably the furthest. But every other British homegrown player has gotten better, because we are practicing 3 times a week. We're doing film review twice a week. And then I also do an extra session with the O-line sort of like midweek as well. Plus, we're playing that level of football against the opposition that we're facing week in, week out. And you either sink or swim, and our guys seem to be swimming right now. So yeah, I'm really happy with where it's at. And that's what's really attracted me to it. So I think that's what this country's needed. I think we've needed this level of competition. We've needed this level of incentive for players to go, do you know what, I may be starting off at youth football or in Division 2 or Division 1, but if I keep pushing the envelope, I could eventually end up being paid to play this sport. It's not life-changing money. A lot of guys are working 9 to 5s and then they're being paid on top of it, but what a great way to earn some extra pocket money by playing professional football, right?
Yeah.
What are your short-term, medium-term, long-term goals for your O-line? What's your kind of vision, roadmap?
Short-term goals is get everyone ready, so when they step on that field on Sunday, they are armed with enough techniques in their toolbox to be able to block some good athletes effectively, to then have enough knowledge about what our schemes are to problem solve any quirky looks or quirky fronts we might get from them, or like D-line games and stunts and stuff like that, any blitz packages you've got there. So when some linebackers mug up the A-gaps, my guys aren't panicking. They're going, it's cool, we've seen this, we know what they're doing, it's good, this is how we're going to protect it, or this is how we're going to run this play. That's my short-term goals. My medium-term goals, they're kind of starting to come into fruition already, like as in the unit's starting to become really cohesive. They're starting to become one being, so to speak, rather than, like, I'm lucky enough, I've got 10 guys that I work with week in. They're not 10 individuals. They're now starting to become one big unit that just work together, get each other better. So when we're running individual drills, I'll be correcting one guy, but then one of my senior players will be helping a younger guy, correcting him with some technique over here, which is fantastic. And I talked to you guys about this, going, a lot of the successful teams that I've been part of have been player led, and that's part of it, is players leading one another, helping one another, and holding each other accountable as well for their efforts. So if guys aren't pulling their weight, somebody will say, come on, bro, you got to be better than that. We don't do that here, right? This is the standard. The standard is the standard, and this is where we're getting to. So that medium term goal that I've had is where we want to go. And long-term goal is I want guys to want to come and play for the Warriors, right? They want to be part of this O-line. They want to see the O-line unit and go, damn, that's good. I want to be part of that. And not even just the O-line, but the Warriors in general. I want people to look at that and go, this is the level of football I can aspire to in Europe, because not everyone can go to college. Not everyone can get to do that, but I'm not saying this is easily achievable. It's not. It's hard. You're going to have to work hard to get these opportunities, but I believe there are a lot of British athletes out there who can do it. I think we have got a plethora of players who are exceptional athletes, and it's just going to open the door for more guys. Because if you think about before a London franchise, the only way that guys would get to play European football is if they're an E-import, and teams only have a limited number of E-imports. They have a limited number of budget. Whereas now we can have all our homegrowns playing for a London team, getting better, being better football players, that some of them might get E-import offers from somewhere else, and they might go on somewhere else. And you know what? Good for them, right? If it means they can earn a little bit more money, they can have a little bit of a different experience. But also at the same time, if a guy goes, do you know what? I've got an aspiring career day job, but I want to play top level football on top of it and earn a little bit of extra cash. That gives that opportunity for guys as well, because not everybody can just down sticks and go and live in Germany or Austria or France for a summer because they've got family commitments or they've got financial commitments over here. But this allows people to scratch the itch of top tier American football in Europe. And who doesn't like traveling to different countries every week to play an American football game, right?
It's exciting, isn't it? Like, I'm loving it at the minute, seeing the games, and now I'm well in for it.
Yeah, it's good. There's been some really good games. I mean, there's been a couple of one-sided games out there, but when the games are super competitive, they're incredible to watch. They're incredible to be part of as well. So, like, problem solving on the fly, seeing how can we adjust to this, that, and the other. It's great. It's fantastic. It's what we want to do as coaches, and it's what we want to do as players.
I know we chatted a bit offline, obviously, in the background before recording, but the Warriors season now is looking good.
Yeah, I mean, I was always of the mindset it was going to be a rough first few weeks. Okay, like Roslav, a very well established team in like pro American football. Ryan Fire, again, another very well established team. We know how good they've been and stuff like that. Alpine, again, a new franchise, but if you looked at their roster, they had some really good. That first game, they had some great solid players like DeMarco Artis on their D-line, Chad Walren on their safety. Like, they've got legitimate athletes there, and those guys, they gave us a bit of a whooping. But you know what? Sometimes that's what we need to go, I now know what the level is, and our guys are going, okay, I need to work harder, I need to do more, I need to be better, and they're starting to get that as well. But most of it, I think I said to you guys earlier, we played our first game with 3 weeks of practices under our belts. Some of our players had 3 practices before the first game. We're now 10 weeks into the season, so 3 weeks, 10 weeks, that's 13 weeks. We're now probably at a position where we should be starting a season, or at least just only a couple of games in, and we're starting to build a team. We're starting to build a team. We're no longer a group of individuals. We're actually coming together as a team. And I said to you guys, it's about time being spent on the road, in an airport, on an aeroplane, on a bus. That's where the team cohesion starts to build and things like that. And I know a load of the guys went out paintballing at the weekend of their bye week, and they're all starting to hang out with one another. It's a really good energy being part of the team right now.
I'm thinking of the AFLE.
Yes.
Do you see the future of another UK franchise at some point?
I mean, it'll be tough because I think it will. When I say it will dilute the talent pool, obviously it could split what the homegrowns that we've got in two, right? And then are there enough guys to backfill those spaces? That I don't know. It's hard to say because we've not experienced it. I mean, I think if we were to look at what's going on in other teams where maybe they've got two franchises in one city, it's probably not the best business model.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm happy if there are opportunities for British players to play top level football, right? The more that it does, it helps benefit the UK football scene as a whole. And then in terms selfishly with my GB hat on, that then gives me more better players to pick for GB, right? So hopefully there'll be that trickle down effect. Whether or not two franchises in London is sustainable, that's not for me to decide. That's for people to decide and see and stuff like that. I'd love it because I think it would be great for the players. Whether or not it would work financially, performance wise, that I don't know because it's the
I was thinking more on like the Aztecs. You look at so they've in recent years started to become the new London Warriors, haven't they? In terms of some dominance in the local game. Yeah,
I mean,
so it's been over far enough away to take a different type of talent pool from some of the more northern teams.
Yes.
As well. It's exciting that it's the first step, isn't it? That the London Warriors are giving a good share of the UK ball.
I think so too. I think there was a lot of people out there that were keen to see our downfall.
Yeah.
And a lot of hate because the Warriors have always had their own little mystique around them and stuff like that. And some people didn't like it, and that's fine. It's just the way the team has been, and other teams want to put themselves out there and want to show everybody how good they are and everything like that. And other teams would rather move in a little bit more of a quiet manner, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong way about doing it. But what I think it has showcased is that, like you say, anything that helps grow British American football for the athletes should be supported. And like I said, people were wanting our downfall. Everyone's like, it's never going to work. It's never going to be this. But I've heard from friends that at the BAFCA convention recently, when we were playing at Alpine, there were people were watching the game and people were cheering when we got the win. And I think that's what it should be. We shouldn't be hating on one another. Okay, we should be pushing each other's successes. Whether you're in the pro league or in your domestic league, it doesn't matter. We should be just trying to build up the British American football scene rather than trying to tear it down internally. We should be trying to build it up and supporting one another. Okay, it's not that hard to wish someone in a different league success, like you say. So and likewise in reverse, go for it. Like, let's just have solid competitive American football being played by UK players.
In terms of UK players, Kevin, is there any players that the UK fans should be watching out for? Can you say that without getting in trouble at camp?
I think you just need to. I think you just, on the Warriors roster, you just need. If you look at it, we've got barely any imports. I think we've got 3 US imports, and that's it. Everyone else is a homegrown British American football player. So just pick your poison. Just pick your favourite player, right? And just support them and follow them and see out there. Like, one week it's Ty Bovell having a huge game on on the ground. The next week it's Kevin Larea like catching 1 million footballs and getting 180 something yards, right? There's always someone that can be doing it. There's Jezreel Agu making sacks left, right and centre. We've just picked up Minash Munrai as well, who's like a DT, who's all of a sudden he's added to the game. Like, there's so many athletes out there. We talked about David Zinyan like absolutely destroying a guy just on a straight downhill tackle. Like there's pick your poison. That's how I say it. There's so many great athletes out there that you just watch the game and just see who makes plays, and it's going to be 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a British guy.
So, Kevin, in this section, we got a 2-minute drill. We're going to fire some quick fire questions at you. First thing that comes in your head, I'll start off. The best coach you've worked with.
Best coach I've worked with. I've had some really, really good coaches out there, but the one that I've probably learnt the most from is probably Tony Allen, in terms of how to not necessarily coach football, but how to coach people. I think that's probably the best way to put it. Like, the way he coaches men and treats people, how to get the best out of them. That's probably one of the best people I've ever learned from.
Best player you played with?
Best player I played with. Ooh, I've played with some really good football players. I think it might have to be Tony Stitt when I was at the Knights as a running back. Just 6 foot tall, 250 pounds, and just run through anything. Like, incredible. And an incredible human being as well. Like, I've never been in a situation where we're backed up on our goal line and we're in the huddle and we're all like, oh shit, we got to get out of here. And this guy is humming 50 Cent lyrics in the huddle. Just as if nothing serious is happening. But yeah, just
I'm loving that.
Yeah, just an incredible player.
Who's the toughest player you've played against?
Toughest player I played against is probably Tony McKenzie. But that was in practices because we were on the same team. So I was practicing against him. Just an absolute huge human being who took great pleasure in knocking this young pup down in practice. But it sharpened me to be a better player. So yeah, that's like a lot of welcome to football moments with him and stuff like that, but a fantastic person because it was all coming from a place of love because he just wanted me to be better. So yeah, that's it.
And the toughest player you've coached?
What, toughest as in they're a pain in the arse, or toughest as in they're just tough?
Tough, just tough.
Yeah, tough.
I'd probably say it's a young lad called Tom Conway. So I coached him at GB under-17s. I first met him when he was 13 years old, just new to the sport, not really sure what he was doing, blah, 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 and stuff like that. But when I say toughest, as in he just took to the sport so well, and he has turned into a phenomenal offensive guard. So much so that everything we did at GB under-17s, basically we're in a pickle, run it behind Tom. We need to get out of this situation, run it behind Tom. And he's then, off of his own back, he went to SGS Pride. He then secured himself the opportunity to play senior high school football. And he's now got himself some like Division 2 college offers and stuff like that. And going from the skinny 13-year-old kid to what I can only describe as this grown ass monster of a man. Like, he squats over 700 pounds. He's benching.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's benching 500 pounds like 18, 19 years old. Like, when I say tough, and he's worked through some adversity in terms of off the field stuff that I know he got bullied and schooled because of football and all this sort of stuff. Some injuries that he's picked up along the way. Like, he's tough and he's just stayed the course and he's just worked so tirelessly hard to get to the opportunities they got to now. So I just know good things are coming for us. And I just remember one time he said, "Coach, I want to play for you at GB Men's." And I said, "Tom, I hope you never play for me at GB Men's." And he looked at me funny. I said, "Because you're bigger than GB Men's. You're destined to go to the States. Like, that's where you need to be aiming your goals." And he's gone and taken that and run with it. So when I say toughest, he's probably the toughest, because mentally tough, because he's just worked his arse off to get everything that he's got, and he deserves everything that he's got.
Who's your favourite NFL team?
My favourite NFL team is the Buffalo Bills, but I am also partial to the Philadelphia Eagles because they were the first 2 NFL teams I ever saw play at Wembley in 1990 or 91, I think it was. Whoever won that game was going to be our team, and the Bills won. It was a pre-season, but I left with a Randall Cunningham jersey, so I've kind of got that affiliation for both. So yeah, but the Bills are probably my team.
Which current NFL player would you want in your O-line?
Ooh. There's so many, right? But on my O-line, probably Trent Williams.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd go for Trent. Yeah, I think, yeah, he'd lock down that left-hand side pretty well.
I think so.
What's the best bit of football advice you've ever received?
Probably just to have fun. Like, in all honesty, it's not that deep. It's just football. It's not life or death. We're not saving lives, people, things like that. Like, it's just go out there and have fun and be free. Because for me, like, playing football was always that time that I could switch off for a few hours without having to worry about what's going on in life, day job and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, just go out, use that time. Like, don't take it so seriously that it makes it a horrible experience. Just have fun and enjoy the moments that come along, and enjoy the friendships that you're going to build along the way. Like, when people ask me about my favourite moments in football, a lot of the time they're not actually moments on the field, they're moments I spent with my teammates.
Yeah, that's that. And one thing that you think British football needs right now?
In all honesty, money. That's what I think it needs. I think there needs to be a cash injection into the game, and I think some teams are doing it well. I know that they're going where, but if we can get some money into the game to allow us to level it up in terms of coaching, product on the field and all that sort of stuff. I think it would be fantastic for the sport because we have the athletes, we have some fantastic athletes in the UK, and just being able to shine a light on them and having a better product, I think that's going to be the way to go.
I think you made it through the 2-minute drill.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, that's all right.
Did
we get the W?
Only took
You got it. Yeah, you got the touchdown.
Only took 7 minutes, yeah, but that's because we had 3 timeouts, right? We had the 2-minute warning as well, right?
Yeah.
So we all know that last 2 minutes of the game is actually 15 minutes of real time.
Really? Yeah.
And we had to go to the ad break as well.
I was going to say, we got TV timeouts. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Well, that's it for today. Yeah, Kevin, thanks for coming on and having a chat and giving us a different perspective into life at the Warriors and shining a spotlight on GB Lions and things. So it's been a pleasure.
Loved having you on. It's been amazing.
No, thank you very much for having me on. It's been great to be able to talk about football and all the good things that UK, British American football is doing right now, because there's a lot happening and there's a lot of positives out there and stuff like that. And it's just good that you guys are helping us to talk about it and shine a spotlight on it. So yeah, thank you to you guys for having me on.
No problem.
Awesome.
That's it from us this week, so make sure you follow, subscribe, all the usual podcast bits.
Yep, and you can find us on X at @MindTheStatPod, on TikTok at @MindTheStatPodcast, on Instagram, again, @MindTheStatPodcast. We appreciate every single download, message, share, and listen. Yep, enjoy the game, enjoy the moments, mind the stat.